Hey Ninja Nation, welcome to this video. This training is specifically geared at those of you who have a book of business and you're looking at that book of business every year, looking at ways, how do I bring more value? How do I increase my sales? How do I get my hierarchy off my back and get them off the inactive report? Whatever your primary motivation is, this video is going to help you understand what to do with your book of business and how to drive more sales and more profitability from it than you have in a long time. Guys, just like everything I teach you, there's going to be some type of a framework attached to the concept that I'm teaching you. This comes from being in the field as a veteran of the insurance industry for almost 2 decades. And most of that 2 decades I spent as a leader of teams, recruiting and training and helping people learn how to grow their book, grow their organization, grow their sales. And now I get to do it for you guys all across the country. And today we're going to dive deep into those of you with that book of business. So I want to help you understand that anytime you're looking at your book of business, I want you to create a 3-bucket system. You're going to look at everything you have in your book. And I don't care if your book is 10 accounts or your book is, 150 accounts, doesn't really matter. Over the last several years, one of the hot topics in the Aflac coordinator circle, probably with other carriers as well, but I certainly know in Aflac, hot topic, asset management. How do we protect the accounts that we got? Then you got some people in the hierarchy that are like, if you don't fill out the report and if you don't do this, I'm going to take your accounts. Those aren't your accounts anyway. Those are Aflac's accounts. And it's like threat. And don't be mad. Well, I'll be mad at those type of people for you. But I want you to understand that when leaders threaten through, if you don't X, then I will Y, it's because they've reached their pinnacle of their skill set. That's just the truth. They don't know how to truly help you move beyond where you're stuck at. And so all they can do is say, well, they're just lazy. That veteran is lazy. That veteran doesn't understand all that we can do now. They don't know about the tools. They don't know about the technology. They don't know about the enrollment platform. They don't know about this. They don't know about that. And since they're unwilling to learn about this and that and something else, then I'm just going to take their accounts away from them and give them to somebody who does know about the XYZ. And we all know, like that game has been played. I've been in the business 20 years. It's been played much longer than the 20 years I've been around. They've just reached the level of their skill set, so their only thing left is a threat. So if you're one of those leaders that's doing that, unless you're just a jerk, stop it. Learn how to increase your skill set, because here's what I believe about the vast majority of the veterans of the insurance industry. They do care. They want to serve their clients at the absolute highest level. They want to bring the most value. They're no more happy about their accounts being inactive than anybody else is, but there is a point of diminishing return where it's just a little account and they've already got several lines of coverage, and without literally overselling them or giving them crap they don't want or need, some accounts are just going to be inactive. Deal with it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let me go back to talking to my veterans now. Vets, if you want to crush your book of business, the first thing you need to understand is to break that book of business into 3 primary buckets. Bucket number 1, this is the love bucket, man. They love those accounts. I'm going to look at all the accounts I have, all the accounts that I service, all the accounts that I'm the OSA or the assisting agent on. I'm going to look at all the accounts and I'm going to categorize them into 3 buckets. The first bucket being those accounts that love me, like love. We're on a forget first name basis. I know them. I know their families. I know their kids. I get invited to their company barbecues. I'm part of their annual Christmas party. They don't just return my calls. They call me when they've got new hires. Like, these accounts are rock freaking solid. Bucket number 1. I love them. They love me. It's mutual. Bucket number 2. Bucket number 2 is, we're going to call this one just, needs work. What do I mean by needs work? It means that you see opportunity. There is opportunity to be had in that account. There's more that you could be doing. There's more you could be offering. You look at the number of eligible lives and you look at the number of lines of business and policies sold, and man, if I could figure out a way to get in front of more of the employees, or if I could figure out how to actually make HR my friend, or if I could figure out how to get the business owner to XYZ, if I could remove a certain obstacle, I could dramatically change the outcome in bucket 2. They need work. I need to improve my skill set. I need to remove a barrier. Something there, opportunity to be had, but not without some substantial amount of work. Bucket 2. Bucket 3. Bucket 3 is something I like to call no opportunity. Now, this does not mean, I guess there's technically 4 buckets. I'll get to that in a minute. Bucket 3 is where you label them. There's just no opportunity. I love the account. They're a great little account. There's they're neither good nor bad necessarily, but it just is what it is. There's no opportunity to be had. I've maximized that account. I've maximized the enrollment, and without beginning to force people to buy stuff that they really don't want or need, there's probably not much ever going to come out of bucket 3 other than maybe an occasional rare new hire or an occasional rare referral. But otherwise, bucket 3, they're good. I love them. They're in my renewal base. There's just not much else I expect to have happen there for the reasons stated, okay? So technically, there is a 4th bucket, but here's the 4th bucket. I'm not even going to draw it. The 4th bucket is one that is accounts that do not fit in 1, 2, or 3. It could be, I don't love them, they don't love me. I don't really care if it needs work or not. There's a personality conflict. I don't want this account. I'm only doing it because somebody else asked me to service it, or I'm only doing it because I have a little bit of a scarcity mentality and I'm afraid that if I give this one up, they'll try to take more from me. Whatever your reason is, I highly encourage you that once you've categorized 1, 2, and 3, if you have accounts left over that don't fit in bucket 1, you can't fit them into bucket 2, they don't fit in bucket 3, then put them in bucket 4, which is give them back. You go to your hierarchy and you say, hey, look, I got these 3 accounts, 30 accounts, I don't care. I got these accounts that if I'm just being honest, Mr. Hierarchy, Mrs. Hierarchy, I think maybe personality, I don't know what it is, but I believe that maybe you could use these to help somebody else in their career. I would be willing to give these up. No questions asked. I don't want any splits. They're a gift. They're a gift. And you give them up. I don't know very many hierarchies that would not take that in 2 seconds flat and hand those off to someone else they believe. Whatever. I'm not going to get into all of that. I don't care. I'm here to serve you and help you. I'm not going to try to help broken coordinators who have so much stinking thinking going on. Okay? Categorize your accounts into these 3 buckets. Get them in the love, get them in the need, get them in the no opportunity. Bucket number 4, give them away. Hand them to somebody else. Get them out of get off the servicing copies. Get out of your name. Get rid of them, because here's the deal. That which you focus on, you attract. That which you focus on, you accomplish. That which you focus on, you grow. And here's one of the absolute top problems that we have with veterans all across the industry. You guys, I believe, as I went on my little rant a minute ago, that you genuinely care about your accounts and you want to serve them. But when you're being threatened left and right about fill this out and do this and take this product in there and shove this down their throat, that tends to be where a lot of your focus goes, is I got to focus on how not to lose my accounts. And so when you start spending all your energy focusing on how not to lose, you cannot focus on how to win. I'm going to let that sink in for a second because that was another one of those deep ones. Here's how simple this is. Once you have got your 3 buckets set up, okay, the bucket that I'm going to spend the most time with you on is not bucket 3, because you, for whatever reason, have said there's just not opportunity to be had there. Then here's my advice to you. Don't focus on bucket number 3. Get rid of bucket number 4 and don't focus on bucket number 3. If you get rid of bucket number 4 and you don't focus on bucket number 3, now we're down to only 2 things inside of our book of business that we got to worry about, okay? And I didn't say abandon bucket 3. Bucket 3 is just like, yo, we've known each other a long time. If you need something, give me a call. But I'm not going to go run big REDM meetings and do a whole bunch of work for a story that I know to be true, that it's a 3-man count, it's mom, it's dad, and it's the son. They've got everything they want. They don't hire new people. They've been in the same business 27 years. Call me if you need me. Love ya. I'll shoot you an email, right? But we're not going to focus on, well, if I don't go run the REDM and ask them about, if they want this new blah, blah, blah product, I'm going to lose it. I can't help you with stinking thinking. I can, but you're going to have to just learn to deal with it. Don't focus on bucket 3. Remove bucket 4. Here we got bucket 1 and 2. Love me, I love them needs work. Okay, let's talk about the love me and I love them. Your opportunity with the love me and the love me and I love them, this not only is the most opportune place to pull referrals from if you get intentional about it, but what I, as a trainer, love about bucket 1 is where you get to practice. When you learn about something new, when you've got a new conversation you want to have, when you've got a new script that you want to try, when you got a new value add you want to test out, whatever it is, you can go to bucket 1, and this is your opportunity right here to try things because of the relationship. It's your opportunity to use them as kind of real life practice, but you let them know that. Hey, Mary, hey, how you doing? Oh my gosh, yeah, and the kids, and yes, and graduation. Oh my goodness, so cool. Hey, listen, I wanted to give you a holler. We've got a new value add thing that I just learned about. I think you guys might be a fit for it. You might not. Can I come by the office next week and just tell you a little bit about it and see if there's any value to you or not? And it gives you an opportunity to go into a no-risk situation and practice something new. I'm going to teach you how to have a new type of DM conversation with regards to your book of business. This is where you practice this new conversation with. Because when you find out that 1 account, and then 2 accounts, and then 3 accounts, and 4 accounts, and 5 accounts, and 6 accounts, 7 accounts, 8 accounts, when you find out that account after account, decision maker after decision maker that loves you and that you love, keep going, man, thank you so much. Wow, you've been our agent a long time and I didn't know this or I didn't know that. Or when all of a sudden conditions that you thought couldn't get much better, get even better here because you bring more value here through a new type of conversation. As this value increases, this crazy thing inside of you will increase called confidence. If I can help you get you to increase your confidence in ways that you don't even yet know you need the increase in confidence, I can help you explode. Bucket number 2. Here's the thing, guys. If you haven't watched the video that I did about engaging employee conversations that convert and crush like crazy, we'll link that video somewhere in this video. Go watch employee conversations that crush. Like wherever we link it at, go watch that video. Because you're going to learn something I talk about inside of that video called FAB. Pay very close attention when I start talking about that and what it has to do with how you screw this bucket up. It's crazy that when you start to realize each one of the components that I teach throughout my training courses and material and all the stuff that I do to help insurance agents, you're going to realize that every single component is somehow tied to another component. And if you learn how to crush employee conversations, it will automatically, so much of the skill set you're going to pick up will have an impact on bucket number 2, even though they're not technically related. But the skill you pick up out of it, dramatic impact inside of your business. Okay? As you increase your confidence in bucket number 1, doing some of the things I'm going to train you to do, you're going to see a massive, you'll get some extra sales out of here, but confidence is what I'm looking for, because the sales, you will explode your freaking sales out of bucket number 2 as you increase your confidence in your skill set by learning how to sell on need and value, not product and price. Again, go watch the other video. There's a lot of gold in there for you. Okay, Let's talk real quick about the details of bucket number 2. Bucket number 2 being the one that we need to do some work on, and how to run a re-DM. What in the world is a re-DM? Well, in my training world, we don't call them ERs or employers. We call them DMs for decision maker. So if I have a book of business, especially bucket 2 needs work, this is my opportunity to take bucket 1 and practice, as we talked about, the re-DM. Okay, you get the point. I think you get the point. Practice the re-DM, increase your confidence, and when you use the re-DM over here on bucket number 2, you're going to explode your actual sales. Okay? The REDM is going to consist of a couple of different pieces. So if you're taking notes with me right now, I want you to be writing down your REDM. And the first thing you're going to do, and I don't care if it's bucket 1 or bucket 2, you're going to do this with both buckets. I just want you to understand massive gains will come, massive financial gains will come from bucket 2 when you get confidence from bucket number 1. So take what I'm teaching you on REDM, practice it here, refine it here, explode your sales. Not horribly complicated. In the REDM conversation, I want you to literally set the meeting up. You're going to set the meeting up with bucket number 1 or 2, something along the lines of reaching out to them and saying, hey, I know open enrollment's coming up, but rather than just doing what we've always done, I'd like to schedule a short meeting with you to find out, are we doing everything we could on our end to provide you with the type of value that we should be? I want to make sure that you're getting everything out of this that you could be, you should be, and see what I can do to better serve you. Would you help me find out if I can better serve you? If you phrase the question anything like that, where you're framing it in the what's in it for them, do not, pro tip, do not call them and say, hey, I have a new product. I have a new offering. I have a new service. I have a new value add. I want to talk to you about my agenda of something new. No. Not even with bucket 1. You reach out and say, hey, I know we've been, clients for a long time, whatever. I'd like to set up a brief meeting with you to find out if there's anything I could be doing to better serve you. Well, I don't know, Zach. Like, you've been our agent for 7-8 years. We're really happy with you. I don't really know that there is much else. Oh my gosh, Mary, thank you for that. That means the world to me. I appreciate it. I mean, if you're open to it, I'd love to still, I trust you. I trust your opinion. I value it. If you could help me through this, it would mean a lot. Well, Zach, yeah, we're super happy, but come on in, let's talk. However it is that you schedule that meeting, do it on the what's in it for them, not the what's in it for you. There is nothing in it for you until you provide more value to them. Okay. In that REDM conversation, you're going to schedule the appointment. 1, schedule the appointment. Schedule value appointment. Okay, when you schedule the appointment, I want you to go to that meeting and run the appointment, and the question out of your mouth when you set this meeting up, when you guys get going, you do your little small talk, you talk about whatever you talk about because you've been friends with this account for a while or whatever. But when it's time to really dig into the agenda of the meeting, I want you to ask them this really important question. The very first question you're going to ask them in the meeting is why. Hey, Mary, thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I really appreciate it. I know open enrollment's not for, another couple of months. But before we get into open enrollment, before we worry about how we're going to do it this year, maybe we're going to do it the same way we've always done it. I don't know. But I wanted to ask you a question. Why did you originally bring Aflac in the first place? This is incredibly powerful, even for the accounts that you personally opened as the OSA maybe years ago, where the reason for them doing it has either faded, forgotten, not sure. But when you ask this why-based question, it's incredible the answers that you're going to receive. Some of them you're going to get some really profound answers. Well, we did it because we had it for this specific reason. But in my experience, you're going to get typically 2 answers to this question. The primary answer you're going to get is due to relationship, and the second second answer you'll get is don't know. Here's exactly how that's going to play out a lot of the time. Why did you bring Aflac in the first place? Well, Zach, if I remember right, the original agent, his son-in-law, uncle, brother, cousin, nephew, sister, dog's walking sitter, I guess was an Aflac agent for a hot minute, and that's how it got in here. Oh, so there was really no value proposition at all. Okay, all right. So somebody a long time ago opened it for some reason. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. And why are you still offering it today? Okay, listen to me. You're going to have to make sure that this is typically going to be bucket 1 and bucket 2. But when you get these answers, especially when the answer isn't, oh, well, we brought it in because we just loved you so much, and I remember how great you were, and you told us about X, Y, and Z, and how it was going to help us with attraction and retention, and it was at no direct dollar cost to us, so like, why not do it? Oh, great. Thank you. And so why have you kept it in all these years? I don't know. Okay, so here's the powerful part of what happens when you get to the I don't know style answer. When you get to this answer, you just found out why that group is sitting in bucket number 2. It's because they have no idea why you're actually there, why you're in, why they're offering it. It's why you get broom closet conditions. It's why people only see you if they're interested. It's why we've always done it this way. It's why we'll have people call you, just leave us a packet. We'll tell them about it, and if they want it, they can call you. All of those stupid things that cause accounts to land in bucket number 2, I promise you, 99% of them boil down to the person in charge not having a freaking clue why you're actually part of their benefits or why they're still offering it. And that's powerful. Do not be scared of that question, because the power that comes from that, what happens next when you get to this I don't know. And if it's anything else, by the way, I don't want to chase too many rabbits here, but if they tell you some profound reason, then obviously, well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And attraction and retention, has it helped? No, not really. We still lose a lot of people. Whatever happens with the conversation, I don't have time to train you on the 700 different ways it could go. I'm going to teach you on bucket 2 especially. I'm going to teach you what's going to happen 99% of the time is you're going to get down to this I really don't know answer. Friend, that's the reason you ended up putting the dumb thing in bucket 2. You just didn't know it yet. Well, you do now because I told you. Shoot, should have made you do the homework first. When the decision maker of the account comes down to the ultimate reason of I don't know why we're doing it, be like, oh my gosh. Well, listen, Mary, I want you to know up front, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm here to find out if we can't find a way to provide legitimate value to you, if we don't find a way to really genuinely help you with something, it's okay if you, I don't want you to cancel and kick us out, but it's okay if you do. I want to actually be able to help you. Otherwise, I guess, Mary, worst case scenario, we'll keep things status quo. Best case scenario, the goal for today's meeting is to find out if I can genuinely find a way to help you. Is that fair? Oh. And here I thought you were just going to tell me about how you got a new rider on your new plan and how I needed to see everybody this year because of Section 125 or whatever the threat of the day is on why you, or the trick of the day is of how you're going to increase your access this year so you can write more business. My gosh, agent, I thought that's what you're going to tell me. But the fact that you're sitting here, agent, telling me that you want to find a way to provide value to me, and if you can't find the way to provide value to me, it's okay. You don't threaten them. It's in a respectful manner. You just look at them with concern in your eyes and you say something along the lines of, man, it's okay if we can't find a way to provide legit value, kick us out. Save yourself the headache of the payroll deduction. So again, go back to the employee conversations at Crush module, and you're going to watch a video where I talk about lowering the walls. Lowering the walls applies right here too. Pay attention to that and see how it fits in together. Okay, when you get to the I don't know in bucket number 2, then that transition statement is cool. Let's find out a way if we can provide value, and if we can, wonderful. And if we can't, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you decide to kick us out or get rid of us. However it is that you want to phrase or say that, because here's what's going to happen. The moment you lower the walls, and now that decision maker, probably for the first time ever, especially in bucket number 2, is like, whoa, I actually think they might want to help. I'm going to lean in and listen for a minute. And here's what you then have to do. You got it. Once you find out why you scheduled the appointment in the first, or why you brought Affleck in the first place, by the time you drill down, the ultimate answer is, I don't know. 99% of the time, I'm not really sure. I don't know why. Okay. And if they do know why are you still offering it? And that answer is 99% of the time, I don't know. I really am not sure. It doesn't cost us anything. If people want to do it, they can. But you're going to drill it, like the ultimate thing that you're drilling it down to is you equal value. You have got to find out a way if you can provide value. Otherwise, like, I guess status quo or kick us out. Hope that's making sense. When you phrase it that way, and that's what you set the meeting up on, then from there you can transition into, well, Mary, is it okay with you if I kind of just walk through, maybe just a reminder, I don't know that any of this is going to be groundbreaking, but a reminder on what I do for a lot of my other clients that does provide value. They're genuinely happy to have us in there, and we're able to do a lot to help them and their employees. Is it okay if we walk through a silly little story together? Sure. Yeah, let's do it. And then go figure. Jack and Jill. The exact Jack and Jill story that I taught you on Employee Conversations with a Crush, whatever the title is, again, linked in this video, you're going to want to do that right here. Again, this Jack and Jill, when you get good at this Jack and Jill will serve as your DM conversation. It will serve as your re-DM conversation, and it will serve as your employee conversation. It is that simple, yet that powerful. And you learn how to simply articulate it to the correct audience you're speaking to, magic happens. Why is Jack and Jill so stinking powerful? Well, I am so glad you asked. And since you asked, I'm going to answer your question. You ready? This is why Jack and Jill will kick any other story's butt that you've been trying to tell or any other DM conversation you've been trying to have. It's because Jack and Jill is simple. It has no confusion. What do we know about confusion? What has Zach said like 47 times in every video he makes? That anything you do that causes confusion will create friction. And if you create friction, it slows the entire sales process down. When your DM conversation is confusing, that's why your deals don't close. When your employee presentation is confusing, it's why people don't enroll. When your re-DM conversation has no value to it, it's just another confusing meeting, and I don't really know why we're meeting or what we're doing, let's just do what we've always done. It's why you get broom closets. It's why you get they'll call you if they're interested, all that crap, which is why you labeled them in bucket 2 for like the 37th time. I hope that you're putting all these little pieces together that I'm teaching you right now. Jack and Jill is so dang simple, it removes the confusion, which eliminates the friction, which lets the thing move forward faster. Now, on our website, I think it's at freeninjatraining.com, I've got a resource there that you can download, a Jack and Jill, like it's a literal freaking PDF. I don't know how I can make it any easier for you, but it's a Jack and Jill PDF that you can download and you can take and use in the field today. If you know the story of Jack and Jill, that's how easy what I teach on Jack and Jill is. A third grader, my 5-year-olds can tell the story of Jack and Jill. And because it's that dang simple, it works. When you get done with your Jack and Jill re-DM conversation, it's like, hey, Mary, so it's this simple. This is what we could be doing, and this is what we do for employees like Jill, who has our approach. But really what we've got going on right now probably looks a little bit more like Jack. Do you see any value in educating people this way, or would you rather just maintain status quo? Well, wait, Zach, tell me more about, hold on, how come? What about this? Here's what you will hear. One of my veterans that had been in the insurance business, President's Club qualifying more times than I can count, been in the business 20 plus years. Her husband was a district manager in the Colorado market. Some of you would know, like, she's an amazing, one of my favorite veteran agents in the whole wide world. 20 plus years with Aflac. I teach her how to do a re-DM conversation around Jack and Jill. She goes to an account in Colorado that she's had for, I don't know, but it was years and years and years and years she's had this account. And her primary point of contact in the account didn't get much better. It was the CFO, like the guy who controls the checkbook. She does a re-DM conversation with him and HR, and they're like, oh my gosh, we've had Aflac in here for all these years and we had no idea that this is what you actually do. And here this veteran is banging her head against the table. She calls me when she gets out. She's like, Zach, you're not going to believe what just happened. But CFO, HR, they just told me this. We're having all the employees meet together at their benefits meeting. I get to do this. I get to have this conversation. Can I do Jack and Jill at that meeting too? And I'm like, oh my gosh, Audrey, that's amazing. And you just literally took what we're going to train you next on, the employee conversation. Go in there and do Jack and Jill again. She went in there on the employee conversation, did the same Jack and Jill conversation to the audience that I just taught in the employee conversation module. And the CFO, who had been her point of contact for years at this account and never signed up, never saw value, never understood the need, was one of the first people in the back of the room signing up that day. And she went from an account that didn't have a lot of business in it to exploding that account that was years and years and years old, because for one simple reason. She stopped selling product and price, and she started to learn how to sell on need and value, which I cover at extreme detail on the employee conversation one. She sold on need and value, need through Jack and Jill, value through what the employees established, or in this case, the employer established. Here's the deal. Like, understand how basic and simple this is. If Mary, our decision maker, if Mary understands the need for why we are offering this, why she has it in the business in the first place, if she understands there is a legitimate need, she will give you the conditions based on the value she sees. If it is true that employees only enroll on something that they understand, see the need in, and believe there's value for, that's why they enroll, that's why they buy, then Mary, the decision maker, same exact thing. The reason she took the meeting with you in the first place, up here for value, you helped establish the need through Jack and Jill. Mary will assign it the value based on what conditions she gives. The more she sees and believes in the need, the more value she's going to attribute to it. All right, my sales ninjas, there it is. Now you guys understand that if you'll take your book of business and essentially divide that book into really three buckets, the fourth bucket being get rid of it, but divide them into four buckets. They love me, they need a little bit of work, they need a lot of work, and there's just no opportunity. Get rid of bucket number 4, set bucket number 3 into a simple call me if you need me status. Focus